Why does it smell bad? Or why does it smell like La Skunk over here? Or this animal shit? It smells bad. Shut up! Stop! I'm not your enemy, but you are my enemy. Oh my god! I need to do Pilates so bad. Okay. Now, I need my drink. I need a drink. I've been awake for like 24 hours now. Except I passed out for an hour and a half right when I needed to. Eric keeps reiterating that I need to be taking this seriously. He wants me to make a GoFundMe and ask for people's help to get a car because I need a car to get work. He did find a factory warehouse job for low, like pretty shit pay, but they're offering 12-hour shifts at night. Here's the food for the animals. So I don't know how keen I am on that, but I mean, if I had a car, I'm glad we got clarification that the car they're offering me for $1,600 would be able to, like if I had to make it to court 2 hours away, I could do it. I could also, if I had to commute for an hour to work, they said that wouldn't be an issue. They just said that if you take like a 4-hour road trip or an 8-hour road trip, the car's not going to make it. They said like a couple hours at a time is not a big deal for the car, which is very much better than I was expecting. I'm gonna throw up, but I'm gonna drink. I do have a yerba. So we're gonna open this yerba and we're gonna fucking drink it. Every time I pause, the crow is rape, 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 rape. And earlier today, they tried to hit me and it didn't work because it's Sagittarius, sees a baby. I did get locked in the car, but it's fine. So they tried to hit me and the Sagittarius season deflected it. It didn't work. So the crows got pissed and they flew right above the thing. And every time I went, stop, and they went, and then I went, nah, and they went, They mimicked me. So these animals do have a lot of spell work they do. Even if they think that people think they're dumb scavengers, they're not. They're vessels for the Morrigan and Odin. Okay. So I have something cool. Let's put this up. I have a surprise with the money that I had saved up prior. Oh, God, come on. No, they're never gonna keep us all down. Hello everyone. I've gotten pretty fat and someone spray painted literally right in front of where I sit. This is where my tent is and where I sleep. Directly in front of it, somebody spray painted fat boy really big. And then I was also talking about last night the necessity to make sure that you live a fulfilling life because we don't have a lot of time. They also spray painted, there are graveyards full of people who thought they had more time. So I don't know who the fuck did that. Who the fuck is watching that went and spray painted fat boy somehow in the very small amount of time I'm not here? It's very concerning. But the plan is to lose the weight anyway, so fuck you. But the other big issue was that I was gonna fucking freeze to death out here. So I spent all the money that I had saved up for stuff. They really fucked this. Also, Check it out. 1122. Whoa, 33 coated? Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed? Also, where I went to pick up this insulation board for free was at mile marker 33, and the address was 205, but right next door, right where it was 209, which adds up to 11. Oh, it's got a greenish hue to it. What's up, fuckers? You ready for the upgrade? Casey gets his new suit of armor. This shit is actually really extremely warm. Oh, holy shit. Already, just even putting it on. Check it out. Fuckers. I'm the wizard in this bitch. I'm the wizard in this bitch. It ain't you. Who do you think you are? I am. I'm the one wearing the extra large coat now. And it has these. Move my fucking hair. Move me fucking hair. So I can zip this bitch up. Yeah. I think so. It is pretty snazzy. Get the fuck on here button. Makes me feel like I got cerebral palsy. Trying to do this. I feel like Aaron Belial from Kill Tony. Okay. Now I have a suit of armor. What up, fam? I'm about to clean. And we talked about cleaning last night, so I'm just going live to prove that I'm actually gonna fucking do it. I'm actually going to clean all my shit out. There's a squirrel. Mr. Squirrel. And the bird out here. Because I scared the crows away. And that's why the crow over there was mad, saying, fuck you. What? What up, fam? Why aren't you in school? Shouldn't you be in school, motherfucker? Do I gotta call your mother? Do I gotta call your mother and say, check out my new coat? Clean my room like I promised. I was telling him about you today, man. I was saying, he was like, you need to prioritize, you need to really make sure you're gonna have to make a lot of sacrifices in order to make sure that you might have to work 12 hours a day for 6 months. And I'm like, so that you can get a place to live. My black-capped chickadee has just flown right to left in front of my head, but now he's gone, so I went. Oh yeah, you're on Thanksgiving break. Fuck. Damn, I'm a boomer. I'm so far out of society, I didn't even know. I had to Google, what, is Thanksgiving soon? I thought it had already passed because everybody had donned, all the colonizers had donned their turkey profile pictures when I argue with them on Facebook all day. But check it out, man. I told you it was going to be gray, dark red, white, and deep green. And what do we have? But my new suit of armor is not black and red like last year, like I told you. It's now green. Ain't that sweet? And also, my boots. Is that Marina? What up, girl? My boots are now green. So I've got my suit of armor again. Thank you, man. It cost me $80 fucking. That's like 1,000,000 pesos. Peso? What was my drink? Ugh. I feel like this coat is giving me a warm hug. I don't feel cold at all under this. This is an extreme cold military grade parka. And now I blend in with the environment. I'm like a wild man. Yay. I'm worried I'm gonna turn it. I'm worried I'm gonna come out of this adventure as a yokel. In 2024 I was country. In 2025 I was injured. I'm worried at the end of this I'm either gonna come out at $80. Yeah. It was expensive. That was like a few months of saving money. My only expenses is phone service, hand warmers. Sometimes I would need rides. Vapes. It went from a pack a day of cigarettes, which was $10 a day, no bueno, to I bought a bag of natural tobacco for $30 and that lasted me 8 months, which was nice. And then I bought a lot of big stuff. Like I bought a pull-up and dip station. I bought new coat, new boots. That's where most of my money went. And then before I knew about Walmart delivery, or if I ran out of food stamps, I did buy McDonald's, and that was a huge tear on my finances. But I was telling him, because he was like, right? Tobacco, that is way better value. Yeah, I bought tobacco, and then I moved from tobacco. Eventually, I went for like 2 months. I went back to cigarettes because I really liked how it. If you remember, it was like the crows were way heavier. It felt really bad, and cigarettes did help. So I did smoke, one or two a day, and then I would panic on every few days. I'd panic smoke 4 or 5. But then I moved to Loons, I moved to vapes, then I moved to my friend's vape, and then I moved to a Loon, and then from the Loon, then I started taking 4-hour bus ride to the nearest bigger town, went to the vape store, bought a vape, and then been riding off a few vapes. I finally decided to quit the vape, and I bought anymore. I think that whatever I was learning, whatever vibe, whatever energy I was picking up with the vapes, I think I've got it. Which could just be really damaged blood vessels and feeling like shit all the time. Because I can't move, my hands get cold now. So I might, but I think I got to the level of focus and the level of being in nature that I was always fighting to keep this state of mind because I wanted to put it into my songs. I think I got it. And I think the animals also understand that I got it. And if you don't think I got it, we're going to have a problem, partner. I like tobacco too, but vapes don't bother other people's noses as much. Yeah, I don't give a fuck about people's noses. I'm not bothering anybody out in the woods. Is that Elric? What up, Elric? So the plan is to take everything out, put it back in the totes, take everything out of the tent right here. Then I'm going to take my makeshift roof, put the better roof on it, move everything back out so I can spend one more night here before I move it like another football field back. Because I was just getting a feel. One, I was waiting for bear season to end, so that now there's no excuse. If I get killed, there's no excuses anymore. Like if I was here and then I waited and I was like, there is a bear out here, then the people that spray painted Fat Boy right directly in front of my tent, they could have come back with a rifle and shot me, and there's no cameras or anything. And they could have just chalked it up to, oh, they were shooting at a bear. Now that bear season's over, it would be definitely a murder. They wouldn't just slide it under the rug like they would have a few days ago. So now I feel a bit more comfortable about going further out. Now that I know that there is some animal here, I don't know what it is. There's an animal that makes chirping noises at night that isn't a bird. It has large footsteps, and it goes doo doo pew pew pew, and it whistles. And I don't know if that's a cryptid or what. I know you're not supposed to whistle in the woods, and there be something that's whistling. I don't think it's a hunter or anything. I would have heard car doors or like. There ain't no dead silence out here. Look. There ain't no dead silence. I would hear it. It might be a raccoon. Do you know? I've never heard a raccoon. I know they do the, like, they kind of sound like squirrels. Never heard a raccoon to be going pew, 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 pew. And I've never heard a raccoon be aggressive enough to walk up to the tent, sit right outside the tent, and go pew, pew, pew. We also had the crows today, and the crows couldn't hit me, so they got really mad, and they flew, and they landed in the birch tree up there, and they just mimicked me. Like I would go, ah, and they go, ah. They started copying me, which I'd never heard before. I'll have to look up raccoon noises. But if it's any constellation, I will just say very quickly that I got an order for Walmart because I felt called to get a Walmart delivery, and the guy showed up, and immediately the first thing he says is, I love animals so much, I can't eat meat. I was like, okay. And then I was like, I didn't want to make it as creepy. I know that this is like a long dirt road out in the middle of nowhere, and there's no houses. I wanted to try to make it as less creepy as possible. He's like, oh, I play banjo in the woods by myself. People think I'm creepy. So I was like, that's, you know, these are some foundational building blocks to a possible good friendship, man. And then I didn't say it out loud, but he wanted to come to this parking lot. So he drove over here to meet me, and he just, you know, I think that most people's impulses are guided by extra dimensional entities, a higher creator. So I know that when somebody's standing near me, to like really listen to what they have to say, because it's probably the will of something greater than that person, because most people are unconscious. So the first thing he goes is, I have Rh negative blood, and my mom and dad both have Rh negative on their blood, on their sides, and I have O positive, I think. And that's supposed, like, O positive is supposedly the blood of the gods, and Rh negative is the blood of aliens. Like, they say that the humans that in the past, like, every race has stories of beings from above, the star people coming down and working with humanity to evolve their genetics, whether that's like artificially inseminating some women with some like cocktails of genetic brew to create like a hybrid race, or if it's like the inspiration through meditation, the information that downloads into their vessels changes things, and that makes people like way taller, or different types of hair, different skin tone type things. They have stories about that, and it's all like an alien thing came down. So part of that is saying Rh negative blood doesn't have, they're not from monkeys. There's no monkey DNA present in Rh negative people, for whatever reason. Maybe we came from dogs, I don't know. Maybe we came from crows, I don't know. But that's why people, when I meet people that have Rh negative, I can tell who they are, because their energy isn't like beaming and bright and happy and innocent and youthful, and the people are kind of dumb. Shut up. The people I meet with Rh negative blood, they're like cunning. They might be good people, but they're naturally cunning. They feel like a dragon. Like how when you see like the old movies about dragons that are like wise and dark, and they talk like this, and they're like observant, and they move slowly, and they hoard gold and women. That's the type of vibe that the Rh negative people bring, is that they naturally, instead of this beaming bright youthful energy, they have this wise dark abyss, and the energy that goes around them kind of sucks in and becomes powerful, which I hate those people, but I am those people. I don't know if we're vampires or what, but I've got it, and I can tell who has it. So that guy had it. He goes, I have Rh negative blood. So I was like, okay, So obviously, he's checked like 4 of my 5 boxes. So now he's going to talk about something, and then little tingling at the top of my head goes, look up. So I stay looking up, and it's just like the intention is keep looking up, let him talk, and he's just going off about what it was like in the army and how he had to quit being on combat because he couldn't kill anybody, so he moved into psychotherapy in the army and helping out with mental health in the military out there. He was like he became like a counselor, and then he casually mentions he has 100 acres 10 miles from here that he's just doing nothing with. He has 100 acres just sitting there, and then I feel the pressure building like nee, 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 nee. So I'm like looking up, and then bam, UFO right above the tree line. Looks like it has tentacles, but it's like this grayish energy with this bright yellow light when I look at it, so it flashes the bright yellow as it like glides over the trees. So I was like, did you see that? And I was like, I see UFOs all the time. And then he's not looking. He's looking over here, the opposite direction, and then he sees one. I saw mine right to left. He saw his left to right, so they went around us like this. And he saw it. We both saw it at the same, almost the same time. So I was like, yeah, I see them all the time. I can call them on command. And he was like, I did DMT and I met this entity. And I was like, I just want to make it clear that this should be evidence for you that you're not accidentally stumbling upon anything and that these things have been following us for a long time. I also want to tell you, like, with what I've seen out in the woods, even if I see a black shadow with red eyes staring at me through the woods trying to manipulate my spirit and get in and attached to me, I still believe that that is the creation of a higher intelligence pretending to be both of us. I just don't know why, but I've seen enough evidence to know that creation. If you sit, especially as a musician, if you sit in a locked room for 2 months and all you do is just create something all day, as soon as you leave that box, you'll look around and it'll click instantly that this is all a creation. It's pretty obvious. But when you start to stay present to the moment and start to try to do things with it, shit gets crazy. Usually for me, it just makes crows very mad. And then when I walk in public, everyone twitches, puts their heads and walks in a straight line at me. Like, people will just run at me sometimes when I hold a higher connection to whatever force outside of myself I'm a part of. I'm pretty sure that I think that I descended. I think that I came from somewhere, from a higher vibration than here. And I think that's why I always feel like I'm trapped and out of place and nothing ever works, and I'm stuck with like fighting through this immense force. I think it's because I naturally came from a place that's more peaceful, and I chose to give myself maybe I'm an ascended master. 33 life path, born in the 11th. My name means immortal, ancient, pure innocence that's unable to be killed. And then my last name means exalted, high on top of a hill with a strong foundation, with a place of power and authority over others, because of my righteousness and my self-sacrifice. And I'm a Sagittarius sun in the 8th house of Scorpio, and I'm a Aquarius moon in the 10th house of Capricorn. Capricorn's like the Dark Empire, O'Brien, the hill, Aquarius, the high vibration, in power, the leader, and then Sagittarius, the explorer, the philosopher, but in the uncoverer, the journeyman, in the 8th house of the darkest parts of the human condition, with the emphasis and intention on rebirth constantly. With Jupiter's influence from Sagittarius means that like I'm this constant revival of everything all the time through passion and inspiration, but exalted, which means I'm placed away. And Sagittarius is the connection between man, nature, and the heavens, so I'm placed away in nature. And my name means a fucking tree. Kind of sounds like there was a pretty strong character sheet when I made my D&D character for Earth. To me, at least. You know, you can't work your way around it, you know? You can't dispute the correlation between those things. You can't be like, oh, you're just reaching. You're like, no, even my Bozzy, as a Dingfire Rooster Daymaster born in the year of the Earth Cat, a Rooster Daymaster is just a Sagittarius. An extremely focused, to the most minuscule point, holding that focus, and as a Ding fire, that focus turns into a faint warm glow that calms and heals and inspires other candles to light themselves. That's the Ding fire. Ren, I thought I was a Ren water, but I didn't account that when you do Bazi calculations, you have to bring it over to the time that was used in China. They go off a different Earth calendar than we do, so I had to change the time zone and change the date in Bazi to make sure it was right. And then I found out I'm not a Ren water, which is this overwhelming emotional force that floods everywhere, like Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, that like spread their influence to the entire world in a flood of their brand name. I'm a Ding fire, which means that I'm a warm candlelight that harmonizes naturally and doesn't attack like a burning wildfire, but it slowly sets all the other candles aflame with its warm glow. And the Ding fire rooster makes me aggressive, forward moving, and people think that like you'd be a psychopath, sociopath because you're so focused. And you can't, all that other stuff is bullshit because you've got, no matter what I do, I have a singular point of focus at all times. And then Sagittarius, Aquarius, Casey O'Brien, and I'm born on the 11th, which is the master number for intuition and the gateway to all the other dimensions through my vessel. And then I'm a 33 life path, which is the divine child, the essence of purity and perfection, meant to embody the example to change the world before either you pass the test and you go on, or you become the Ouroboros or the OB or the serpent eating itself or the Leviathan, and you have to redo it over and over and over again, probably picked up from one dimension and placed in another simulation, and you have to run it again. And if you fail, you get taken out, put in another dimension, and then you run it again until you finally get it. And once you've gotten it, then it's been that way forever. So then you get out. December 6th is a Sagittarius, but you're leaning more into Ophiuchus, which Ophiuchus is the 13th sign of the zodiac. Ophiuchus is the actual tree sign. It's the man wrestling with the snake, or the person burdened by truth. It means that you can't escape the truth, which means that that's why those people tend to seem like sociopaths, because the drama doesn't reach them because they know the truth. They're only struggling because they feel the world is bullshit, and they have the Scorpio and the Sagittarius in between. So they have the passionate fire, water, alchemical revitalization and constant rebirth, and the drama and seriousness of living in the dark waters and trying to become the phoenix. And you also have the influence of, and that's Neptune, and you have the influence of Jupiter and Sagittarius, which is this righteous truth and this perfection of mastery over earth, which gives you a connection to nature, the heavens, and man. And it means that because you have that stable foundation of mastery, you really tend towards philosophy because you're just trying to like uncover cool new things and make things with it. Jupiter is about growth. That the essence of Jupiter is all about growth. So you're always trying to grow new things, which is why we become philosophical about different stuff. So it's really just that placement is just a transmutation sign about taking things in and making something with it. Like I grew up, but my last name is Exalted and I'm Aquarius Moon. So of course I grew up on top of a mountain in an abandoned ski resort alone, and I spent all day by myself building Legos because I'm taking in my environment and I'm putting it with the Ding fire focus. I'm just putting it into building tiny little stuff, and then I place it in my garden. I just gotta go take care, guys. See ya. We can do November 10th. We can do December 6th. Let me see. Why did you just describe how I feel some of it? Because it's true. You think that the astrology, numerology, and Bazi have been going around for thousands of years, and it's just, I can't believe that it was just one bullshitter after the next bullshitter after the next bullshitter. I have to think that some guy was like, there's something to this. It feels like it's a different chapter of a book every month. And the themes of the book tend to be different, and we feel different, and the events that happen follow those themes. And we can really see, like, when we get together in groups and do group meditations, we can really see the influence of a higher creator, obviously, or people wouldn't be worshiping anything. They wouldn't believe it if they didn't see something. So I have to believe that like every generation had like tons and tons of people working on it and refining it until we got to this level of knowledge. I don't think it's a fucking bullshitter that just made shit up 2,000 years ago and we've been collectively making shit up. I think that people are just kind of like describing what's going on long enough, and autistic people came through and figured out some patterns in the numbers. So we'll do, if the December 6th is here, was December 6th, was that just chilling? Yeah, December 6th. The 6th is like the small version of the 33. Like XXX Tentacion was a 33. He decided his way to do that was to make an album that would reach the world, but the goal is to provide a way to harmonize, to create something and embody something that can be looked upon by the collective consciousness and can be, and teaches them something huge about the universe. And you share what you've learned over many, 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 many lifetimes. And if you can break through that and do your immense challenges, then you move on. And XXX shared 17, and then he did his question mark, and then he was killed by Drake, and Drake means the dragon or the devil in English. And then Drake was because of that, Drake was defeated by Kendrick, which means the fiery Irish king. And Irish people are the true chosen people, they're the true Israelites, because the Tuatha Dé Danann came down and tried to conquer Ireland, and they fought back against it, and that's what gave them their height, through constant spiritual revival and paganism of taking in nature and using it to influence their genetics, and then in rebellion against this colonialist force that attacked them at the spawn of their nation. But at the same exact time, the Jews were saying, yeah, the same thing came to us, the other Israelites and Hebrews, except we liked it. We liked it, and that's why we eat babies. That's why we sacrifice babies and drink their blood, because they were working with the thing that promised them the world, just like the devil promised them the world, if they continue their practice and continue harvesting life force energy through a system of society to take in as much and sacrifice people and open up vessels for possession. And that's why they're bad, and the Irish people are the true chosen people, and that's why the Irish have been attacked for 2,000 years. It was gods, the Tuatha Dé Danann, then it was Vikings, then it was Romans, then it was Catholics, then it was the English, and now it's just bureaucracy and corporate greed. But they've had to fight to maintain their ability to stay in control of themselves, and that's why they tend to have the lower vibrational leg dances to keep their confidence, to keep them grounded, and they have like the fighting fiery spirit. It's because they've had to like fight off on this island. They've been like me here out in the woods, like fighting off everybody here, having to like make my songs. That's what they've been doing for 2,000 years. The point was, the 6 is the simpler version of that. You don't have the, unless you're a 33 life path, an 11 life path, or a 22, a 6, and I think Westy is a 6. He might be a 6 life path though. Yeah, and I think he's born on the 2nd, or the 20th, or the 19th. The 6, born on the 6th day, just means that you naturally harmonize everything around you. You have a sense of peace if you're healed. If you're not suffering trauma that makes you feel distorted and in fear and in pain all the time, usually you naturally embody this aura of comfort and peace. And you mainly, in your day-to-day life, you tend to be the person people fall on, people vent to, people talk to, people want to be around. They kind of covet you because you embody. Favorite episode of MTV Cribs? Yeah, I've been trying to pimp my house for a while. The 6 really, it's the harmonizer. So as you walk through life, everybody's got addictions, they've got trauma, they've got bad communities that thrive in suffering, they've got a bunch of bullshit. Why is Owen Cook? I just got a suggestion for Owen Cook on Snapchat. How the fuck do I even have Owen Cook's number? Owen Cook has like 250,000 subscribers. I called him on Instagram once. He might have a number. But either way, I have Owen Cook's number now, actually, which is pretty cool. I haven't thought about that in a while. The six is like you go, and I'm kind of talking like Owen Cook, actually. When you watch his videos, it's pretty similar. We're kind of talking about, we're kind of on the same wavelength there. The six is when you walk through life, you will naturally be shifting those distorted fear, trauma, bad frequencies into something more manageable and comforting. So people will covet you, they'll obsess over you because they like want a relationship with you because their sickness and addiction is healed the same way that they were escaping pain in the drugs and the jerking off and the trauma and whatever, cycling rumination. So you will have a lot of obsessed people, the same way I do, that yearn for your energy. So they try anything in the book. So you might have a lot of trouble with that. The point is to learn boundaries so that you're unaffected by it, so that you can naturally continue embodying your harmony. That's why sixes are the most caring of the zodiac, of the numerological whatever, of the different essences and presets like Call of Duty classes. The six is the most with this urgent tendency to relentlessly care for other people somehow. That's what I would say for Sagittarius, being born in December, in that Scorpio Ophiuchus. It brings this jealous obsession, but this necessity to make life better for other people. That's why you tend to care about people a lot. It's because it's part of why you're here, and I do think that you decided to enter through that door into the world. That's the path you took. Say like you're playing the game of life and you have the same choices in like the intro stage. Right before that intro stage, there was another set of like 50 different choices, and you like aligned a bunch of different ones and came in a certain way. And that was under God's authority, but also you decided it. Because life is more complex than that, than just like a daddy in the sky making people stop hitting that guy. It's way more vivid and complex. It's just the gift of life is that if you want to live simply, you can, and it's probably the best way to do it. Is to give it all up to God and let Him sort it out. But sixes are harmonizers, cozy. Let's see. So, if Pisces is the first sign, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo. The six is Leo. That's that. I am. That's why you find a lot of Leos happen to be 6 lights or 6 days. 9 is Sagittarius, and that's taking in everything in the universe and producing something that releases the energy in your own way. That's why I'm saying take it all in and change it and make it better your way. 9 is about release. You'll feel a need to like take in everything you're going through and push it through yourself to make something. Depending on your Taurus placements, how it comes through is dependent on like your rising sign or your Venus placements, is how that release happens. Like I have a Taurus rising and Venus in Scorpio, so I tend to want to push it through in a more relationship-oriented, intimate way. And Taurus is about incarnating, so I'm like incarnating the energy through into something, which is why I grew up building Legos, and I strove towards music and going on dates. That was my passion, was creating dates, building relationships, creating art, because I'm an incarnational force, and then my Saturn in Taurus, and then Sun in Sagittarius. That's why I want to suffer, and why I walk through the war zone, and I love every minute of it. That's my element. But some people, their element is sitting in their Section 8 apartment in the attic room and animating all day. And then caring about the friends in the community and going out and like having a cookout and hanging out with people. I can't do it. I would need to. I would love to go on this long, extensive, immense, dramatic journey through the worst parts of the human experience, and then when I'm finally suffered enough, I'd love to go enjoy a burger with that guy. Everybody's different, and it's just by natural order. It's almost your path is inescapable just because all is mind, and it all is your preference. If you just keep living the way that you want to live, you'll eventually start living a life that you'll be able to look at your astrology, numerology, Bazi, gene keys, human design, and you'll be able to be like, oh, it's, yeah. That's what I'm saying, is if you just keep following your heart, you keep doing what you want to do in life, trying new things, you will naturally fall into the life that you're meant for, and you'll be able to see that, oh, since birth, I've always known. Which is why I think that we have chosen ones that get attacked. I think that there is a, because you know that the people in government do Kabbalion, esoteric, occult science. There's obviously a data log of every person that's born, and there are specific days that they look out for, and there's a file with every 33 life path. Even if they don't do anything with it, the government's not going to let that just slide with all the evidence here. If I found this sitting in the woods for a few years, this ancient conglomerate of intelligence networks that believed this stuff fully until 100 years ago, when they brought a garbage can to the moon, and then they hung out for 3 hours, got back in, and went all the way back with no fuel. Look at how much it took to get out of Earth, and then they just kind of hopped. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. I don't think the moon landing was real. Neil A., alien, and then in his gravestone is talking about how you can't leave Earth. The thing Neil A. decided to put on his tombstone when he died was the Bible saying that you can't go to the moon. You can't leave the atmosphere. It's impossible, because there's nothing out there. Because all is mind. But I don't know for sure. Feels more like we're a hot spot. Like the attention from the universe is all focused on us. And out there, there's nothing. I just don't buy it, man. I don't buy that the moon perfectly aligns with the sun in eclipses that happen on specific astrological dates that are of real importance. I don't buy it, man. We're in like the Garden of Eden. We're like factories that are channeling the infinite through us. And our gift is that we can do what we want with the space as we do our spiritual work. And we're evolving this place. We're helping nature learn and grow in different ways. And that's what's going to be here when we leave. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I was just drinking this and I wanted to have a smoke. I wanted to have a smoke, drink this. See how I like the new coat? Which is pretty good. I'm down to do some numerological readings. I'm down to do some readings for people if they're interested. I'm not doing anything. I have to stay up till this guy gets off work. And then he's going to be bringing a bunch of insulation board. I can do. This is nice. I feel a bit better about going to Brattleboro to go to court now that I'm in my cool coat. Post your birthdays, fam. Post your fucking birthdays, and I'll do a psychic reading. I think we had somebody that was November 10th, but you didn't say what year. The crows do not like November 10th. I like November 10th. You're a Libra. No, you're not. You're a Scorpio. Jason, asking about your zodiac sign. Is Jason still here? Jason's a good comment. Jason, I need your date of birth. But November 10th is a Scorpio, born on the 10th. The 10 is one energy, so it's argumentative, forward-moving leader, but that added 10 adds an essence of authority. You don't have to deal with like immense, impossible things in your day-to-day. Yo, pimp, I'm doing readings. What up? Love you, bro. Hip hop slug. I hate slugs. They're gross. But you can you can bypass Grok AI. Born on December 6, 2008, 2009. Glad you're looking well, my boy. Yeah, check out my new coat. It's been a crazy few months, but what else is new? I'm just trying my best, man. I'm about to clean this cabin to prove... I'm about to clean, not the cabin, this tent out in the woods. To prove that I can do it and that you all should do it. So 12/6/39 2008 2009. You can't be born in 2 years, man. Which one is it? What the fuck? We did the 6. You're 15. I'm gonna assume you're 2009 and that you're turning 16 next month. Just like I'm turning 26 next month. Yeah. Living well away from 9 to 5. I'm waiting on a birth certificate, and then I'm gonna have to get work so I can get a car, get a gym membership, get a computer, get a camper, get money for plane tickets, start making content, travel around the country. When court's over, I can get a passport and go to different countries, learn different languages. Really just start having fun and enjoying my life, getting buff, getting healthy, getting bitches, having a good time, traveling and recording it all, and really, really hammering down on writing down my life and life experiences into some type of book, so that at the very least I can show. But I really want to make it like an animated series so that people can see what this was really like to be a part of this. Like I would love to take a camera and record this and then make an Unreal Engine game where you're standing here and how the birds respond to your thoughts and stuff like that, and just traveling and dealing with the drama that I deal with day to day. Hopefully my memory will get better when I'm in a safer environment and I can actually like delve deep into my mind to relive these experiences over again and be able to scribe it down. So that's what I'm just waiting on a birth certificate. And then find work, if that's what I need to do. I'm making a GoFundMe. Everyone can GoFundMe, so I'm going to make another one. And it's just going to say, help me get a car so that I can get to and from employment safely and get out of the cold. And then very quickly I'll be able to be saving up enough money to get a more permanent living situation, whether that's land I'm allowed to park on, or renting a room or like a small cabin at the end of somebody's property. More stable housing to get me off the ground. But December 6, 2009, which is 11 plus 6 is 17 plus 3 is 20. So you are a secret 11, you're 2. It's really cool. Westy's a 2, 6 life path, and you're a 6, 2 life path. So it's the same message, but inverted. Instead of the Leo, it's the Sagittarius, which is pretty cool. Unban my YouTube. Oh fuck, Boone, you're gonna have to post your channel link, and then that way I can get to your channel, and then I can unhide you. I don't know your channel right off the bat, man. I don't have there's no list I can access of blocked channels. It's just you hide the user. So I have to find your channel again and then go to your channel and unhide it. So just send me the link to your channel, and I can do that really quickly. Guys, this is bro 2002. You have to post your full birthday. But 2009, being a 2 life path is feminine energy, but it's the secret 11 energy, which means it's not a very masculine. But the Sagittarius is masculine, and the Scorpio is masculine, and the Ophiuchus is masculine. So you do have the driving force. The 2 life path just means in the overarching theme of your life will be based around this complex, but this large body of knowledge Masculine is like wisdom, where you're like doing one thing and then doing the next thing. How you implement your mind to make things happen in front of you. The feminine, the two, is experiencing things at a much higher level. It's holding this grand, vivid, huge body of information, which is really. I've noticed that sixes and twos really go together. Dude, you were born. Hold on one second. But yeah, look up 2 life path and 6 energy, and you'll figure it out. But they always go hand in hand. You find the 2s, 4s, and 6s, they're always together. They're like complementary colors. Don't go anywhere, Hip Hop Slug. I got something. Fuck! I was so close. My dead little brother, who died this year, was born December 16th, 2002. I thought it was the 17th. You were born one day after my little brother. So you were born in a horse year. Let me finish off the 2, bro. First. 2, extensive body of knowledge. I'm not sure I don't know what mission you would have in life. I know the 33 life path mission. I know the 1 life path, or like Andrew Tate, like they really want to be driving force. That's why he's got the Sagittarius with the Cancer beside him with Tristan. But the 2, it might just be like I know you have to embody something that heals, and it doesn't have to be, it's not like a world-changing thing. You don't have like this immense pressure. It won't be like horrible suffering all the time. That's not good. If he saw me, well, next time he comes through, this will be gone, so. And I don't know what 2009 is for the zodiac, for the Chinese zodiac. Well, I know 2011 was a cat. So 2010 was a tiger, and 2009 was an ox. Which, how it felt in 2021 was the metal ox. So you have to find out what element ox year you were born in. Like, I'm an earth rabbit, but rabbit was more recent before they called it a cat, and I feel like the cat is more indicative of what it's like. But I did see rabbits only in the year of the rabbit. I remember vividly that the only time I ever see rabbits are in rabbit years. Hold on. I don't know a lot about 2 life paths. I know a lot about 1 life path, 11 life paths, 6 life paths, and 33s, and 22s. I don't know a lot about 2, and like what the career choices end up being, or what the mission in life becomes, or the overarching theme of the story, the message behind your life. I don't really know a lot about 2s, but I know that you get like this overwhelming, complex, not overwhelming as in scary, but like this vivid sense of self, where you experience life much greater. And then with the 6, it means that vivid experience happens to naturally harmonize in a nice way that is healing to most people. You were born in an 11 year, though, and in the 11 year, that does add a little bit of essence of like ancient wisdom, a little bit. It's not like fully encompassing your character, but it's like a little bit of spice in your sauce. The next thing would just be like the other 6'2" that I know, Westy. He naturally goes towards community centers and food banks, and he naturally he gravitates towards things where his position. But you're a Sagittarius 6'2". He's a Leo 2'6". You know what I'm saying? So he has more of that intrinsic community-centered positioning himself in a way that gravitates people to him so that he heals them with his care. Where you would be more focused and more independent from that. More like it's cool. The first instance we had was getting you to clean your room. You know? The first instance we had was going in and doing an internal revitalization and transformation. Because with me, it's like King's Cross Station. When you meet me, you're going closer to that path. I'm like a gateway to the next place. I'm like the stepping stool, the polar bear that takes you from one stage of your life to the next. And I try to make it as great as possible. But that's what the KC does. He lives outside of time and he governs the multiverse, tree of life. And he just brings souls along their multiverse journeys as they're growing through time. Like Kang the Conqueror, Loki becomes the tree of life with the help of OB or Ouroboros or the Leviathan, the 33 snake eating itself, and the help of Casey in the show Loki. Casey and OB help Loki defeat Casey, Kang the Conqueror, until he becomes the Tree of Life, or the Acacia, or the Casey. That's what it is. So I'm pretty sure I'm like a reincarnated something. I just don't know exactly. My higher self won't let me because I have to be the divine child. So I'm like my own dad. I'm like the Trinity. Whoa, isn't that crazy? Let's do a clip, and then we'll get on to Hip Hop Slug. If you have any questions, I got you, man. If you have any questions, I'm here. I don't have anything I have to do today. I'm waiting on a birth certificate. So December 17th, this is cool because we're moving from the 6th to the 8th, which is pretty cool. December 17th, 2002 means you're out of Ophiuchus and you're fully Sagittarius, which means instead of wrestling with the truth and being stuck and trapped in this constant, the world is fucking bullshit and I don't know how to function and everything is dark and I'm trying to adventure and I'm trying to make something of it, you're further past that and you're into Jupiter's energy fully, more so, which means you're not really stuck in the darkness like Scorpio and have to revive. You get to be, instead of bipolar and ascended master having to go down and back up and down and back up, you're more up. You don't have the burden of that, which, it has pros and cons. It means that you're more tendent to want to stay on the journey. Like, before me and this other guy, this other person, this 15-year-old, where we'll tend to want to stay closer to the ground because that makes our jumps more epic. You're in flight. It means that you really enjoy it would really depend on your moon side, but I would say that you don't really value permanence as much as you value the momentum between locations. So you're a goal-oriented person, but I bet it kind of feels like you're always killing shit. right? Like no matter what you do, it's like things hit you, and it only really hits you because you care, but you don't even really care that much, because it's like you have something better you can be doing. You like being on the journey. You have this motivational force as you get up and do things, like if you hit the gym or you're making a song or you're listening to an album driving or at work. You'll see a lot of other people are like kind of walking around kind of dull, whatever, discussing drama and gossip, and you're just thinking about something better, and you really love to just be doing it because that fiery momentum. Kai Cenat's Sagittarius. I think he's also either Kai Cenat or Gideon are also born on the 17th. I also think that they're born in 2002. I think that you might have the same birthday as Kai Cenat or Gideon. You have to check. Kai Cenat said he attributes his success to his ability to philosophize and make things in real time. This happy, inspirational motivation. He's like, yeah, this fire sign of just enjoying life. And he also said that his test from God to be able to actually get this YouTube shit done was that he was trapped and stuck in college in one place, charging his devices, homeless. He didn't have phone service, so he had to upload his videos onto his computer, and then he had to wait till the very last minute, pulling the bow back, and then he had to sprint through the entire college, past everybody, to get to his class. And he said that is what helped him become a streamer. The Sagittarius momentum, the Falcon, the Firebird, the Phoenix. Pew! That's what Sagittarius is about. Constant Jupiter growth, revitalization through all the bullshit to be able to enjoy the flight. I would say because you chose the name Hip Hop Slug, there's probably heavy emphasis on something dull like an earth sign energy in your moon or your rising or your Venus. You probably have a lot of heavy earth sign placements, just going off that you chose the name Slug. Even if it's Hip Hop Slug, you have Slug in your name. Creation is divine, and it's guiding you towards perfection. When you chose the name, like I've been calling myself KC33 long before I knew about the 33 life path. I've had this like affiliation with eagles and bears long before I knew how special it was. Choosing to name yourself something slow moving and patient indicates to me you probably have some type of Taurus or Capricorn placement, or Virgo, some type of slower, grounded nature to it. But let's get to the 8. The 8, so when I talk about master numbers have this overwhelming purpose, and they're burdened by a Truman Show life, where everything is this constant test that is forging you like a sword through suffering, to be able to embody what you're meant to be here for, to be there for many other people. The other signs, that makes it seem like really special, but it's not, in a sense, like maybe you don't want to be overwhelmed by that. You don't want to do that stuff. But if you go through many lifetimes and you pick up a lot of skills, eventually it becomes impossible to be a 1 or a 2 or a 5. Just because you've been through so much, your energy cannot come through that way anymore. You have to be 11, 22, or 33. You have to be born on the 11th, 22nd, 29th, 19th. But right below those master numbers are 8s. 9s are like master manifestors and not burdened by glorious purpose. 8s are people that have gone through lives previous to this, and they have mastery over many things. You're like a man of like many skills. You'll naturally be good at a lot of different things that you did in a lot of past lives. Like the other 8s I know are all really talented performers. They like to sing, but they're also all Leos. I know a lot of Leo 8s, and those Leo 8s love to be on stage and show off all their different talents with music and creation and inspiration. But you could be a great carpenter, you could be a great mechanic, you could be a good MMA fighter. It's just you have a multiple sets of different things that you're very good at, and you came into this world as a balance between it. So you have the mastery and competency of someone that's lived multiple lives, but you don't have to like become the king of a small town and make sure everybody's under control and that everybody's moving, and you're slowly defeating these principalities from this ancient order and like dismantling these large gods from above, like 11s and 33s have to do, and like George Washington built the fucking country. You know, you don't have to do that shit, but it means that like you're not, the eights are balance, it's karma. It means that you have the calm competency of somebody who's been on Earth for a while. And you're just here to do things and have fun. Your life will mainly revolve around karmic tests for other people because of your natural balanced nature. 8, I think, is Scorpio 2, Scorpio energy. But more Libra cusp. It has to do with the 8s mainly. You don't see 8s. Okay, this is cool. With the Sagittarius in the 8, it means that your life will be a big series of traveling to do things that you're very good at, naturally. And you'll find the most enjoyment you get from it will be with this righteous justice in expression of those gifts that feel like gifts, but it's not. You earned it at some other point in your life. The horse is aggressive, it's forward moving, which is more added on to the necessity that it's going to be about momentum based. You're going to be like traveling. There's going to be some essence to do with getting through something. Gideon Sagittarius is that he's always hunting. Gideon expresses his Sagittarius because he has his mark, his goal, and he had to get through it and to bring other people along with him. That was his need. He might have Leo placements, he might have 8 placements or 6 placements. Gideon is very community oriented, but the problem with Sagittarius is that they can be selfish because of their independence. But I'm seeing like Leo codes, there's something, or Taurus codes, there's something about Gideon that there's a reason he's fucking obese. There's a reason that he strove to be like huge when he played football. He wanted to be big, and now he wants to be fat. He feels this like channeling of his energy is better when he has this big presence, where Kai Cenat doesn't feel that way. And I kind of feel that way, but mine is more angled downward in rebellion. I don't want to be like this big fat dude because I want this overwhelming presence. I want this like assertion of myself and widening of myself because of my Saturn and Taurus. I don't want to be like huge bodybuilder status, but I want my body to like fill out, which is why I tend to accidentally find myself with coats that make my presence more blocky. There is that need. You'll find like John Michael was not that way. He was a 16, so he was a 7. He was way more focused on the philosophical nature of the Sagittarius, where you're more intrinsically focused in bringing in the different narratives to express yourself, but it's more momentum based. Like if you want, like watching Gideon videos is a good example of Sagittarius in the state of the world that we're living in, because he takes you through. That's why Kai Cenat started with pranks too. They're taking you through war zones on an adventure for righteous truth. Gideon was Sagittarius are infiltration units. So in 2022, in the year of the Tiger, when Gideon blew up and I was doing stuff, I was moving through Walmarts the same way they were. I was cutting through the societal cords and fighting off the aggression of the people by embodying a more philosophized nature of myself in mastery and expression of my own will. But because of my 8th house Sagittarius, I had to do it homeless, or else it wouldn't be fulfilling. I had to be suffering with my Saturn and Taurus. In the 1st house, my body had to be suffering. in order to get up and fight harder to get through it. So Gideon was able to make a lot of money doing pranks. I had to go and hunt for food in the store while everyone's trying to kill me. So whatever, when you look it up, whatever your first house is, that's your physical incarnation. That's how your body is affected. Where your Saturn is what is affected heavily by these karmic traumatizing experiences. So mine is my physical vessel, and it's in Taurus, which means that my body is under attack the most. My physical presence is under attack the most. I keep having to be thrown out into the woods and have to fight back and crawl back into town. I have to be homeless on the ground and have to fight to get up and go. But if my Saturn was in Venus, I would be burdened by like horrible love connections. It would be all about like constantly tortured by my love. And I would be fighting just to teach love to someone I care about a lot. And that's not the case. Now I'm more focused on embodying something that they can watch from a distance. Do butt plugs hurt? I'm asking for a friend. I don't know, but if I ever get probed by an alien, I'm shitting on command. If I get abducted and they're trying to put a probe in my ass, I'm pushing out everything I got the whole time and shitting all over their floor. I'm not going down without a fight. This isn't even yerba mate. It's yerba madre. They changed it. Organic yerba mate. It says come to life. These are really the best things you can get at the store for energy drinks. Because it's just water. It's just water, tea, and some caffeine. And nothing else. There's no like added shit to it. There's not even like added vitamins to make it cooler. It's just tea. These are great. I've been abducted by aliens. A couple months ago, I felt like a bear had grabbed my neck and dragged me out, but then I looked up and I realized I was floating horizontally out of my cabin. And then as soon as I saw the sky, I saw this dull haze above me, and then I snapped and I woke back up in my tent. And then a week later, a bear was right outside. Sagittarius, 8, the 8 energy mastery, born in a year. What's your life path number? Did I already do the life path number? You're a 4, plus 8 is 12, plus 3 is 17. Let's make sure. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1 is 4, plus 7 is 11. Plus 4. Dude, I'm retarded, kind of. Yeah, you're on the same type of timing. You just said, what's your life path number? And I caught it. I caught it through the metaverse. Through the ether. 4 plus 8 is 12. Let's make sure that's right. 1 and 7 is 8. Plus 2 is 10. Plus 2 is 12. Plus 1 is 13. Plus 2 is 15. You're a 6. I kept going to Gideon. You're a 6 life path. We got to 6 with the only other person that put their birthday is a 6. So I already got the 6. I was talking about the 6 life path versus the 6 day. You're an 8 day with a 6 life path. The difference is that the day you're born is your everyday experience, and your life path is a more linear, thematic, cyclical nature of how you go through your life. So the 6 life path means more, instead of embodying the healing energy that harmonizes the space and makes everybody fixed, being the song, your 6 life path means more that your life is around creating the harmony. you'll see that when you look back on your life, the things you did had that effect on the world. Your influence on the collective consciousness will be that of harmonizing, healing, being a grounded, stable factor. There's the slug, the slow moving part of the six, the calm. If you were like a 9 life path, I would say that you're going to be fully like thing after the next thing after the next thing after the next thing after the next thing, just rampage, not even rampaging, just like this overarching looking down. But with the 6, it brings you more back to a more intrinsic focus with that 8. I told you the 6 and they tend to stay together. That 6 life path, it'll put you in positions where you have many people around you. It makes you it forces you to be less independent, but not in by independent, less in introverted. It means that like you probably had a chaotic family life. 6s have chaotic family lives because they're learning how to maintain the boundaries and keep the warmth and learning how to care. It means that your life path is more focused on care. It's Leo coded, so it's not exactly the sun shining, whatever, because it's your life path, not your day. But it does add an emphasis towards making a caring change in groups of people. So 6 life paths do find themselves in your journey as a Sagittarius. You will find yourself with a strong network of relationships as you go through the journey. And depending on your placements, how that journey goes, the style of that journey, the transitions and the themes of the episodes of your life, the rising and falling of your heroes' journeys, that's dependent on your placements. Like your 12th house, whatever your 12th house is, your 4th house, your 1st house. Sort of like the added spices to how that tastes looking back is that, but that 6 life path adds the tendency to be someone that nurtures groups of people along your journey, where your day, how you are caring for those people, how you end up being the stable, calm, and peace for the community, will be based around travel, momentum-based things like goal-oriented, in a way that's expressing your mastery over the things that you've learned through many lifetimes. Sixes tend to gravitate towards gas stations, community organizations, things that deal with many different people in quick succession. Sagittariuses tend to go towards driving jobs. They tend to like value the car or the bike in the journey. You might be like an advocate going to different places and dealing with multiple different people. Or you might be traveling between different job sites or something like that. You know, I'm not talking about the setting as much as the expression of yourself. So you got to figure out what you love to do and what you're good at, the things that you make you happy, and that you feel that you naturally tend to outshine other people in, and then you'll find the most fulfillment through turning that into an adventure. It really is like, at the end of it, I'm like, I don't believe it's real. This interaction, I don't think it's like, if you are real, then it is like way too divinely orchestrated. But to me, like it feels like I'm picking, like with my Sagittarius, I'm uncovering foundational aspects that I had missed about myself, because I've learned about how to care for myself through caring for others. that does, I'm finding foundational aspects of my 33 today. And the cool thing for me is just how do I frame those things in a way for the collective to witness before I'm sacrificed, is what 33 life paths do. Hey, Master, what's my life path number? Do I have all messages on? Yeah. If anybody else wants to put their birthday, I'm doing life path, numerology, astrology readings. I'm uncovering the secrets of your life through the foundational parameters that you and God set for yourself to always remember why you're here, so you don't stray off your path. Hello, Crow. And the bird over there. Oh, 2 crows. And then the animals picked up over here to make sure that they're not spreading their chaos. You look like me, brother? Yeah. Now that my hair's brushed, I got the long hair like Westy did. Before it was all clumped up, dreaded and matted and like stuck to the top. So even though my hair was just as long, it was like up like this. But I liked it because I was like, it looks nuts, but it also kind of feels like a Native American headdress, because that's what I was going through at the time. But now that we're moving towards Viking and Irish and Northern codes and straying further from, like, what did we figure out? We figured out that a lot of the native tribes and their culture is the exact same culture that's taking place in Siberia. There are Siberians that look like Native Americans that live in teepees and they dance the same way and they wear the same clothes. But that's not the only natives that are here. Some natives look Siberian. The eastern natives don't look Siberian at all. The southern natives don't look Siberian at all. And there are some dark-skinned indigenous that do not look African at all. They look like they're from here. There are native tribes that have DNA that have been here for 250,000 years. There are people that were here. I think that this was Egypt. I think this America, the United States, I think this land was an advanced civilization. And I think that their magnum opus, in a way that cared for nature and didn't impede on the world and didn't accidentally give the monkeys accidental technology, I think that the pyramids was a time capsule and a magnum opus and a perfection and representation of their culture. And they didn't do the hieroglyphs because they're dumb. They left the hieroglyphs for the dumb people that they left behind. And I think they probably transcended with AI into the sky. And I think that they came back down for the monkeys as the star people. I think that America was Egypt, and because the pyramids had to be in Egypt over there because of the coordinates. The geographic location on the planet for the pyramids are really important. So I think that the advanced civilization, possibly 100,000 years ago, who knows, went to Egypt to build the pyramids there because that's where it had to be. The way that the coordinates line up, the way that the angle perfectly, the perfect angle of the pyramid, and how it is with the ley lines of the planet, expresses the level of mathematics and science that this advanced civilization had achieved. It was not a bunch of people riding camels, fucking kids like Muhammad, that were eating babies, and they got millions and millions of slaves together to build the pyramids. It was an advanced civilization that could laser cut rocks and built the pyramid out of natural resources so that they didn't impose their technology on the world. And I bet they probably left more and more and more secrets that were only able to be accessed by a greater level of civilization. Like, we couldn't get into the bottom of we can't get a mile below the pyramids yet. But we're using LiDAR and we're figuring out there's more stuff down there. Once our civilization gets to a point where it can access more knowledge, there's more knowledge available the further you go down. It was a time capsule and a representation of themselves, and it'll get the more that we can uncover. Like, I bet there's going to be a code that an advanced AI will look at all the hieroglyphs we have available and we'll be able to decipher a code that only an AI at this level is able to find, that humans won't be able to. They left hidden instructions, the same way that I'm able to uncover this stuff about the universe through just simple pattern recognition cyclically. There will be a point where we're able to uncover more and more and more about that time capsule. But I think that that race, if you look at them, look at the Native Americans with the feathers and the dance and the skin tone, and then look at the Egyptian hieroglyphs where they have the eyes of Horus that put their eyes like this, a little bit. The natives are the ancient Egyptians. They're just the leftovers, and that's why they talk to their ancestors, the star people, because they've transcended humanity, and they're gone, and they're only here the same way that we're going to help monkeys once we evolve. The same way that we go back for the native tribes and show them Rainbet on our phone, and they're just like, what? What? Holding their spear. And the guy's like, Rainbet. Do I hit or stay? That's what the aliens are doing with us. And then we're going to get to that point and come back for the monkeys. And what will we leave behind? Something. But we can't leave a pyramid behind because they already put it in the perfect place. With Sirius and the North Stars and the perfect alignment on the planet with the alignment of the ley lines. There's a perfect place on the planet for the pyramids. Crow, shut up. That's a huge one. No. Don't just sit there. I hate when I set the crows off with something and then they come to me and they just stand there to continue farming and harvesting. Oh, did everyone leave? Yeah, it's just you now. Hello. The birds are now flocking to the tree that the crow is on, and they're yelling at it to keep this space going. And now there's a mosquito right to left, which shouldn't be alive. I can feel the energy the crow has brought. I'm doing life path readings. I'm doing numerology readings. There's no one here. So let's move all my stuff out the tent. Well, let's finish the cigarette and enjoy my drink. But that's a seed I planted that will grow. Those guys are going to come back in 8 months and be like, you were right. Oh my God, I can't believe it. I figured out. Every month of my life, I do the same exact 3 behaviors that's indicative that you could figure out just by looking at my chart. And now that I know that, I can hold that focus and grow with it, because they're both Sagittariuses, coincidentally. They're both Sag, so they're going to grow with it. And I helped them along their journeys. I was able to be the master teacher. The only other teaching I have is just to build a foundation and clean your space. You need to have a strong, sturdy foundation to be able to actually do these, so you don't get caught in cycles of suffering. If you don't have a foundational space that's clean and organized that allows you to focus and learn on different things, you get stuck running in circles, trapped. It's also cool that the more I talk, the more youthful I look. But when I don't talk for a while, I start to sink and be sick. I need to be the Sagittarius pushing. If I can't channel like this, I deteriorate. It's called living in purpose. I need to find I wish that I was back on the long trail, actually. Not really, but there's no place I can walk. There's no place I can walk around. If I want to go on long walks, I can't do it on the tracks anymore because it's going to snow. And they're pretty mad at me because they've caught that truck that rides along the rails to check. Has caught me like 3 or 4 times this year walking on the tracks, and he gets pissed. Because he doesn't want me to die. He knows these tracks better than I do because he can drive 40 miles along them. and he knows that there's not a lot of places for me to jump off the side if a train comes. It's just cliff sides. So he really does not want me on these tracks. Which sucks because there's just nowhere I can go to walk. So I have to go at night. I have to take long walks at night. But I'm gonna try to pull like 5 or 6 miles a day now. Start with like 1 or 2 miles, and then as I go further, get back into the focus more. I didn't pick up heating pads. I have 2, which is fine. And then Eric should be coming back with the stuff so that I can move that here. What the fuck is that? What the hell? That was a bald eagle. That was a bald eagle. Clipped. We're clipping it. Clipped. It went, eh. And I was like, what the? I've never heard that bird in my life. And I looked up and it's a giant ass fucking bald eagle that's following this riverside. That was cool. I just saw a bald eagle right next to me. What was I thinking about? I was thinking about organizing my stuff to move over there where that squirrel just chirped at me. And the bald eagle did just fly right over to where my mind was pointing. Like, right, if it's like a triangle, where it's like me and the bald eagle, we both just, our attention was focused on the area I'm trying to go next, which is pretty cool confirmation for me. Okay. I just have to take all my stuff, put it in one bag, put that one bag in that tote, take it all out of the cabin again, and then once it's all out of the cabin, fix my sleeping bags, and then once I fix my sleeping bags and that's nice and that's all nice there, I'll put the tripod in, and we could take the roof down. I just want to drink this first. I've got about an hour and a half left of sunlight. When you look, if you hold your fingers up to the sun, every finger, this finger length, is about 15 minutes. So when I look, I've got about 6.5, well, depends on that, if that's a mountain or if that's a cloud. I might have 2 hours, so I bet it's like 2 o'clock. It's 2:30, yeah. So I have 2 hours before it's blackout. I'm doing life path readings. Post your birthday, and I'll tell people what they chose to do in this life, what they came here to do. And you'll find that there's a pattern in your name, your numerology, your Bazi, and your astrology, that they're all indicative of how you incarnated on this planet. While I sip this tea and I clean my house, because it's the first day of Sagittarius season, so we need to righteous truth all of our bullshit. Flipping this over. Yeah, we will put 2 layers here. And then this. Yeah. fucker. Okay. This goes up. This goes over. Hello, squirrel. Clip. You must clip it. Clip to the top. That's clipped. But I can pull this further back now that I've clipped the rest. And then this goes up. Bam! Motherfucker. You fucking accuser. Look at this. Ta-da! Now we have a roof. It's trash. And I'm gonna come back out to pitch. We're gonna put the tripod in this back corner here. Attach it to the charger, which I think is out of battery. So we'll have to put it to my nice big beautiful block, which is 72%, which should be like 10 or 15 charges, which took a lot to save. I'm going to put you sideways. It's just easier. Let's hope I wasn't muted very long. Okay. Now, it's actually too hot right now to wear this coat. Shut up. Every time I pause, they try to rate. Stop trying to rate me. Stop. Fucking stop, fam. Leave me alone. I need a gun. I need an airsoft gun. That won't really hurt them. It'll just scare them. Knife. Where's my trash? Okay. Here's my trash. If you don't manage the trash, it gets out of control really quickly. I didn't get an answer on whether my birth certificate has gotten back. I gave that guy a bunch of fucking contractor bags that cost a lot of money. I'm pissed about that. This. Okay. go here. This can go here. This can go here. Hello. Bam. 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 And then this is more trash. I'm learning to start keeping my great ideas to myself because people mainly just shit on them or add their own judgments to it. It's not really productive to be sharing my grand schemes to people anymore. Now what do I do with my hat? Okay. Box for my Cheez-Its. My Buffalo Cheez-It can go in here. Then we'll put my protein bars in this. If I don't stop talking, I don't hear the invasive voices anymore that torture me all the time. Okay. And then when I start to break free from those voices, the crows show up. And when I break free from the crows, angry people show up. So I don't think it's just schizophrenia. I think there's an agenda to it. And it's something like the Mind Flayer from Stranger Things. And I'm also seeing, just casually going on Facebook, I'm seeing that a lot more people are describing the initial stage of what I went through when I was 19. Like a lot of people like in their 20s or 30s that lived their whole life according to society's rules, they're now panicking and posting the stuff I experienced on level 1 of my journey. So I'm slowly waking up to the fact that I suffered immensely for years because it taught me a lot of skills and perspective on what the world is now going to go through. Now I can be there for others the way that they were never there for me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm picking up what I'm putting down? Let's open up to a random Bible verse. I'm ready to read my Bible. This is the New World Translation of the Holy Scriptures, but it's the only Bible I could take with me. I got my merch. I got the nice shirts that I'm going to put my embroidery over. I remembered that there was this nice company that released their merch. And they had amazing shirts from an amazing manufacturer. And that manufacturer doesn't make the shirts anymore. And that company doesn't make the shirts anymore. So I went on eBay. And I bought a lot of it. I bought 3. For cheap, for like 15 bucks. I bought 3 shirts. And I'm hoping that I can make one for myself. And then sell the 2 others for like 50 or 65 a piece. And that's how I can pay for phone service for 2 months. It could be a way to like generate support for the channel that isn't like throwing money at me. You actually get something from it. What's page 33? It starts at page 43. And the first page is God created the heavens and the earth. This one is speaking out to me. Oh, cool. The where it was speaking out to me is also where the bookmark was, which is John 1:35, 2:10. So the Word became flesh and resided among us, and we had a view of His glory. God incarnated on the planet for the collective consciousness to view, to embody the higher level of stuff that humanity has not evolved to perceive. John was standing with two of his disciples, and as he looked at Jesus walking, he said, "See the Lamb of God." When the two disciples heard him say this, they followed Jesus. What? So John is standing with two people, and Jesus walks by, and he's like, "Can't you see? Look at that. Look at God's chosen one. Can't you see the divine child?" So John was standing with two people that were following him, and he was teaching them the way, and then Jesus passes by casually, and they see that he's like the master teacher, so they start to follow him and be like, "Where's he going?" And Jesus is like, "What are you doing?" And the first thing they say is what they say to me a lot. I'm not comparing myself to Jesus, but it's like the first thing they say is, where do you sleep? Are you homeless?" Is the first thing they say to him when he asks. He says, "What are you looking for?" To that, is what do you? They're following him. They're behind him. He turns around. He's like, "What are you looking for?" That's pretty cool. That's Sagittarius coded. What are you looking for? Because Jesus is Zeus, Jupiter, influence, the righteous truth. It's a part of the archetype, and I do think I think he did exist. Um, and the first thing they ask when he asks them, "What are you looking for?" is, "Are you homeless? Where do you live?" Then he says, "Follow me, and you'll figure out where I'm staying." What the fuck? So Andrew and Simon show up where Jesus is homeless. You can't make this stuff up. Yeah, I mean it's here. It's pretty funny. Uh, it Andrew and Simon show up where Jesus is staying with the two disciples that decided to follow him that day to see what's up, to hang out with him. So Jesus is hanging out with two random guys, and then two of his disciples show up, and Jesus looks at Simon and goes, "Your name is now Peter." I think that's pretty funny. Simon is John's son, and instead he's like, "Your name is not Simon anymore, it's now Peter. You're not the son of John, you are now Peter." And my brother John died, and my dad inherited $100 million from Peter when he killed himself, and then rich Jewish people took it from us immediately. That's the only Peter that's ever been in my life, was my dad's alcoholic friend who lived on the other side of the hill, and their black labs would go to each other's houses, and they had to make friends because they had to talk to each other, and eventually they would drink and play Flight Simulator in the basement, and then Peter eventually couldn't find love, and he killed himself, and he gave my dad everything, and then very quickly rich loan shark pieces of shit from New Jersey came and told my dad a legal loophole they found to steal our inheritance. And I don't know if it's too late to dispute that or how to dispute it. I'd have to get in contact with my dad first. The last time I saw him, he tried to choke me to death. But maybe there's a way I could sneak with a civil suit case and say that it was meant for my dad and it was stolen from him, just like on our first sleepover corrupt cops beat the fuck out of him for no reason and threw him in jail. And he didn't commit a crime until after they had broken the law and police procedure by violently attacking him. You cannot reach your hand into the person's car. It's unwanted search and seizure. Especially for not using a blinker. You have no right to reach into the car and try to grab the keys. My dad was in his right mind to roll the window up and try to protect the 2 kids in the back seat from this cop. And then suddenly there are 6 cops right there waiting. They jumped us. They saw us at Shaw's having a good time. And they waited at our property for us. And then they jumped him. He used his blinker. They just pulled him over to pull him over because he inherited a nice car and he was living in a nice house. They were jealous. And then they ripped me out of the car and they made me watch them beat the fuck out of him. And I got some shit, whether it's pepper spray or whatever. I got shit on my face and had to go home and brush it off. Wipe it off. Okay. So Nathaniel, some other followers are coming to Jesus, and they're saying that they can clearly see that there's some special power that he has. He's like a master teacher. He's wise. He's homeless. He's an outlaw. He's living a life that people like, and they're coming to him and saying, I can clearly see that you have something special. And Jesus says to Nathanael, I see that you are something special because I saw you when you thought you were alone at this location under the fig tree. I saw you there. And he was like, how the fuck did you know that? And he was like, you will see much cooler things if you keep hanging out with me than just astral projection with God's ordinance to show something in the future. Sagittarius coded, Jupiter, Zeus, astral projecting to a future goal, and with that sort of empathy to see the information on the people that they're carrying, with that greater sense of empathy, with an open mind, he was able to see when Nathaniel was alone and was able to see how he acts. And he says that I can tell that you are a righteous part. I think he said without sin. Let me see. There's no deceit. How do you know me? But also, we have no proof. There's no proof in this that Jesus actually saw, like Jesus could have been walking by or taking a shit and he looked up out in the field and saw Nathaniel sitting under the fig tree, which is still ordained. It's still like an episode of God's TV show. But that's what convinced Nate that Jesus was king. It was like, oh shit, you saw me under the fig tree. And Jesus is like, you believe that I'm king just because I saw you under a fig tree? You're going to see much cooler stuff if you hang out with me. So in my own words, on John 51, well, he said to him, what you're going to see if you hang out with me long enough, you'll be able to see heavens open and you'll be able to see the angels coming in and out. You'll be able to see this extra dimensional force in the electromagnetic spectrum that humans aren't naturally able to perceive with the level of information that they have. If you hold on to me with what I've learned traveling around the world and what I've learned about spirituality, you will be able to witness the infinite in source and how there's higher dimensional beings that are coming in and out of this realm. If you hang out with me long enough, osmosis will be able to, you'll pick up and I'll teach you how to perceive the changes in the electromagnetic spectrum. Like how the other day when I started to channel through my younger self and something knocked a tree down, and how that keeps happening over and over again. Like what I tell you, I get to this point and I'm shooting through and I'm Kundalini awakening. I'm not of the world anymore. The world is away from me and I'm pure to create. I'm full of this innocence that allows me to reject the world, and then something doesn't like it and it hits. And how I can talk about how I look up and I see these UFOs and shooting stars on command. He says, if you hang out with me, you'll be able to see the will of the higher thing and how the workers of that higher dimension are actually all around us at all times, communicating to us. Demons and angels just mean messenger, translated. So you'll be able to see how the information is coming from source to us if you stay in my presence long enough, is what he's saying to Nate. And he says, I know you're a good person because I saw you when you thought you were alone. And then Nate was like, you must be the king. And he's like, don't be so naive, but I'm going to show you something really cool. It's just like every homeless guy, every old homeless man I've ever met, you know, every old wise homeless man that I hang out, that comes to me in the woods and we hang out. He talks the same way. He's like, hang out with me long enough, you're going to see some cool shit. It's just wisdom. He's a wise guy. And I think Jesus is like 29 when this happens, right? Because he died at 33. Jesus was only 33 years old when he died, so he's probably like 29 in this. Or 20, maybe he's 26. I don't know how old Jesus is in John 1-5. Jesus' mom was at a marriage feast. Jesus and his disciples were also invited, so the whole gang is together. When the wine ran short. Oh, the first page I opened up is the water to wine, I think, right? Jesus was 30. Jesus and his disciples were also invited to the marriage feast. When the wine ran short, the mother of Jesus said to him, they have no wine. But Jesus said to her, woman, why is that of concern to me and to you? My hour has not yet come. Mother said to those serving, do whatever he tells you. There were 6 stone water jars sitting there as required by the purification rules of the Jews, each able to hold 2 or 3 liquid measures. Jesus said to them, fill the jars with water, so they filled them with the brim. Then he said to them, now draw some out and take it to the director of the feast. When the director of the feast tasted the water that had now been turned into wine, not knowing where it came from, although the servants who had drawn out the water knew, the director of the feast called to the bridegroom and said to him, everyone else puts out the fine wine first when the people are intoxicated. In fear, you have saved the wine until now. Jesus did this in Cana of Galilee as the beginning of his signs, and he made his glory manifest, and the disciples put their faith in him. Well, there's a few things. So they're at a marriage. They ran out of water. Jesus said, go get the water. They have the water. And then he does something that nobody says. They don't say what he did. We don't know what Jesus does. But we know that from the time the water is poured to the time that it gets to the guy who threw the party, the director, it's turned into wine because Jesus turned it into wine. But it doesn't say how he did it. He could have learned, well, what do you do to water to make it wine? Don't you have to put it with yeast, and the yeast has to infect and grow into the water to make it wine? The water ran dry. If it's a code, that could be like the spirits of the people, and he inspired them in a way that when they brought it to the guy, he saw that, like, you made the party hopping with just your spirit. That's usually what happens at the end. In order to turn water into wine, it's called alchemical transmutation. What was wine back then? It doesn't say if it's actually wine. They could have said juice. It doesn't say it had alcohol content. It doesn't really say what it is. It just says he turned water into wine. It does not say that he snapped his fingers and it manifested as wine. It doesn't say what he did, but it said that he was partying with his friends, and his mom was there, and she was like, Jesus, they ran out of water, and he was like, come on, we're partying. I'm not supposed to like do any cool shit yet. And then he tells her that he's got a plan. So the mother just says, trust him. Watch what he does. So they bring out the remaining water and he turns it into wine. It just doesn't say how. I don't think that Jesus is like a magician that it magically like turned. I think he did something that he learned how to do. But it just doesn't give me enough information. Six stone water jars, 33 codes. They're putting the number in there. So he didn't know where the wine came from, but the servers knew, but it doesn't say what he did. He puts out the wine first, and when people are intoxicated, so there was alcohol content. No, no, no. He's saying that you put it, he said everyone else puts out the fine wine first, and then once people are drunk, they put out the bad wine. So he was saying that you brought me wine. I was waiting to give out the good wine because I'm waiting till everybody's. Or actually, he was saying something. He was saying that he had already given out all the good wine, and that all that's left over, like he doesn't have wine because all that's left over is the bad stuff. Maybe. And then it ends. That's just the scene ends. Jesus is at a party. His mom's like, they're out of water. He's like, I got it. Makes it into wine, and then the guy who drinks the wine says, I put out the bad wine later. Maybe that's a joke. Maybe he's saying this wine is kind of shit. I wait to bring out the shit wine because I'm waiting until they're drunk. That's why we fear God. What? He is God, so it was highly disgraceful to run out of wine at the function like that. He is God, so anything he says just is. Like, let there be light. It just is. Well, I'm also saying, like, to me, let there be light is like when I tell you to imagine a pink pony, a pink dog running through a field, to show you how to create in your mind, and then you can find the influence and the difference. Let there be light seems like the assertion of will just to show how to imagine. It's like a cheat code. Let there be light is like a cheat code. Also, let there be light. Allow the light. Don't make the light. Let the light be there. That also feels like no expectation on the outcome. Stop trying to force it. It's natural. Let there be light. You know? He said he went to a church and the church was selling. The church had been turned into like a merchant shop. The church had been lifted and they were selling things out of the church. probably to like make money and donations and all this stuff. And he said that rampaged through and fucking broke everything. He said he went out, and this is like, I've seen a lot of homeless people do this, where they like get really mad at something, and everyone's like, look at this fucking junkie doing this shit. What the fuck? And the guy's mad at the same reason Jesus is mad here. It's like there's a bunch of bullshit going on here, and I'm fucking tired of it. And he takes it upon himself to go make a change. And he goes and breaks it all. It's not like a guy freaking out because he's traumatized. Jesus is like, this is a fucking church. Stop. There's the feng shui that needs to happen. You're destroying the connection of God by allowing this exchange of goods. It's supposed to be pure, and there's nothing in here because it's just an avenue for this energy to come through. You can't be doing tons of different stuff here because you're disrupting it, and you're driving your people away from this connection, which is going to allow for a bunch of bullshit. So he throws a temper tantrum and he breaks everything. And the guy's like, who the fuck are you? And he says, you want to kill me? And watch. Kill me. If you think I'm not God, kill me. And they didn't. And eventually they did. And then I don't think it says that they saw him leave the temple. The whole point that I'm starting to see in the Bible is that the way that they say things is the same way that when I post on Facebook and I post about the things that have happened and my journey, and I really wanted to frame it in a way that would force people to confront whether they cared about me or they didn't, because I was suffering and traumatized and alone. So I would say these things about what I'm doing in my adventures, and I would tell the truth about what I'm experiencing in life, but they would have to believe it, and they would have to care. So the Bible seems to be written the same way, where they're not flat out telling you this was. They're framing it in a way where there's something that is being expressed, like the stuff that I talk about in life with the birds and the patterns and all this, where it is real, but you have to believe, you have to make the choice to let there be light. You have to make the choice to know it, to let it be true. And then once you make the choice that it is true, then it solidifies and coagulates into a digestible body of information and knowledge and wisdom. That's the body and the bread of Christ. Christ is a story and a character that has a lot of codes attached to him about esoteric high-level truths in simplicity, like a nice song. And once you accept it and believe that it's true, and you hold it in your head, you slowly digest it into becoming a better version of yourself, which chips away and allows for the higher strength and connection of God, so that when you call out to your connection to that thing, that's what sheds away the darkness, because you have a relationship with it now, and you've grown in spirit into something bigger than yourself. I get it. Kind of, but I'm sure every time you read through it, it's different. The first thing I looked down and my eyes went to was the word bear. And bear witness. You cannot receive a single thing unless it has been given him from heaven. You yourselves bear me witness that I said I am not the Christ, but I have sent ahead of that one. I have been sent ahead of that one. Whoever has the bride is the bridegroom, but the friend of the bridegroom, when he stands and hears him, has a great deal of joy on account of the voice of the bridegroom. So my joy has been made complete. Is that Jesus talking? After this, Jesus and his disciples went to the Judean countryside, and there he spent some time with them and was baptizing. But John too was baptizing in Aenon near Salim, because there was a great quantity of water there. People kept coming and were being baptized. John had not yet been thrown in prison. Now the disciples of John had a dispute with a Jew concerning purification, so they came to John and said to him, Rabbi, the man... Okay, it's John speaking. Okay. So John is doing the baptizing and helping people and trying to fix their spirits and their belief systems and reorganize them. As I'm trying to talk, the crow is disrupting me, and I went ziz ziz ziz. The crow over there is fucking with me. Okay. Yeah, so he's just explaining like, no, I'm not Jesus, but he's taught me a lot of stuff, and I'm really happy to see what he's gonna do. Okay. "33. Whoever has accepted his witness has put his seal to it that God is true." Which is what I just said. That's what I just said. For real. That's exactly what I just said. Is that when he has this way of seeing the world and he shows you it's true, the same way that I called the shooting star on command, not trying to prove I'm Jesus, I'm just taking from my own life. Or when I show you that when I get to this state of meditation and I start to breathe with nature and I gain connection and I fight back against the demonic force always attacking me, how I'm immediately attacked. There's somebody here now doing the same. The demon showing itself off. And now the birds are picking up really heavy over here. So when I show you it's true and you accept it, when you accept what I'm trying to tell you is true, you gain a seal of God. It's embedded in your system now, and you are further out of the matrix. Now there's crows surrounding me, and there's a human approaching me. Which is because God is the book, the person, and the spirit, right? So of course, there's going to be proof. Oh, my foot is asleep. Who chuckled like a demon when the crows showed up? And why is my foot asleep? Hopefully you could hear through the microphone. Some guy is just like wandering through the woods, and when I talked about the demons, he went, dude, I gotta get my foot on his sleep so I can run if he attacks me. Okay. Let's move the machete to defend the tent. If it's a normal inbred yokel and he sees me with the machete holding it, he's gonna call the cops. Could be police looking for evidence that I've built something so that they can approach me later and say, well, now we have a charge for you. When I raised my sword, the birds were all active. And now they're fighting. The squirrels are now fighting. You can see how nature picked up because the energy is getting higher, because there's more energy and attention from something being drawn to this environment, which is causing the animals to try to dominate each other. And they also are indicative of the scene playing as like a hint. The energy that came through through me, spread to the other beings in the forest. I felt like there was a threat incoming. And now the things are acting as if they're threatening each other. We're waiting for it to hear his footsteps. I hear him, he's over here. I'm holding my Bible. Thumbnail. And that's it. 2:16:44. Let's have my yerba mate. I need a sheath for my machete. I do have a sheath somewhere. Where did I put my fucking sheath? It's probably in here. It's a bit more, maybe Sundays at like 9 a.m. or something. Or maybe Saturday it'll make it cooler. Light in the darkness coated. And suddenly reconnect my device. I'm looking for a car or a truck by to see who the fuck was that guy. I told you that the vessels for the enemy, they wander around and they laugh at bad jokes just to go ha ha, because it's a way of harvesting life force and converting it to their dark assertion of their will for sexual purposes. It's just part of the community, it's culture. It's why the Native Americans called them the Greys, because they were devoid of life. Because they channel everything into that darkness, and they call that sophistication. There's no car here. There's no cool stuff here. Whoever it is might be scoping for homeless people before he calls the cops. I don't know. I didn't hear a dog. He's not out here with a dog. The animals did get agitated by his presence, whoever it was. And the aggression that channeled through from that guy represented in me feeling threatened and the squirrels going on attack mode and fighting each other. It is Sagittarius season, so that happened because he shot his intention outward, probably going by and trying to dominate the guy channeling God. And then when he shot the intention out and he went, ha ha, made the squirrels mad. I just want to see. I don't want to be walking around with a machete and people think I'm a bad guy. But you never know who's out here. Now I'm looking for dead stuff that I can hit. Check that out. It's sharp as hell. Brand new. And this was $80 in Morrisville. It's only $23 here. I don't even have to try that hard. You just got to make sure that you hit it. I don't like the way that it's weighted. A sword would be more closer to the hilt. Like the weight would be here. Machetes are more like a quarter way through. Because it's like in between a sword and an axe. And I don't really like that. I don't like it for defense. But also I don't have a hilt even if the weight was here, it's supposed to be to balance the hilt so that you can catch their sword with it and then get in. Hello, black-capped chickadee. There's a bunch of them here. I love you, birds. I left you some popcorn. What's this noise? Look at this river of rust. It looks like India down there, man. Out there are. Sleigh bells are ring-a-ling-a-ding, ding-a-ling-a-ling-doo. All of us like to live in a giant pile of poo. And we eat it too. I haven't been over here. Sleigh bells ring-a-ling-a-ding, ding-a-ling-a-ling, Jew. There's something I don't know over here. That looks kind of metal. It's a lovely weather for a... It was probably, to be honest, I bet it was Mr. Crow. Because Mr. Crow parks over there. So I think I heard him over here. He probably went to check up on me, saw where I was living. And he had to do the What is this? A stone block! They stole all of our blocks! A metal thingamajig. This isn't bad. And there's a butterfly right to left. This might be a cool place to set up. I kind of like that area on the other side of the ravine, though. I like that it's more, deer and bears aren't climbing up this. And it's that way around the entire side. But there is easy access. Where I'm coming from is that when it gets really fucking cold in a week, and there's going to be a lot of snow covering all this, I don't really want to go on the long trek all the way in here. But I do want to feel separate. And they're going to be running these power tools every day, whatever that building is. I want to show you the cool view. Let's go over here. Sleigh bells are ring-a-ling-a-ding, ding-a-ling-a-ding, doo. Yeah. People call me King David a lot. They also say I'm like Solomon. And I'm like, weren't both those guys the people who were defeated by lust and nothing else? So, last year, I was by a cliffside overlooking a big lake, and now I've got this giant river all to myself, but I'm not going to want to go down there in the winter. That's a beaver dam. I don't want to disturb the beaver. Oh, that's nice. I've never had a machete this sharp before. That's nice. I've had the shitty Ozark trail machetes. Whoever he was, he's gone. Which is concerning. Sleigh bells ring-a-ling-a-ding. I should probably cut the pricker bushes on my way back. If Jeff tries something, I'm gonna kill him. Hello, bird. Left to right saying, don't kill him. Be the example. But I really want a four-wheeler. I really want to ride four-wheelers on the trails. And date a 20-year-old with mental health issues. But it's fine because I have my life put together. That is the way. The other way is being a passport bro or settling being a stepfather. And I'm not sure I like any of those options because I can't speak any other language. But I am only 25. I'm not even 26 yet. Cinna wasn't worldly famous until she was 29. Nobody knew who Tom Brady was until he was like 30. But I am 26 in 2 weeks. But maybe I had to wait for the cycle to end. Maybe this was my origin story. I was working 40-hour weeks when I was 14, and then I was forced into homelessness in the system and I wasn't allowed to work. And then it's been an entire zodiac cycle before I'm finally ready to start pulling long shifts again. I'm really back where I started. The only thing I wish I had done, there was nothing. There was really nothing I could do. I can't think, like, yeah, I could have enjoyed what I had when I had it and been more grateful, but I didn't know any better. So when I look back, I'm like, it really was, I couldn't have thought my way into how I see the world now. I had to go through this to gain this. It wasn't something that I could have philosophized my way into enjoying. Like, I mainly look back and I'm like, I wish that I had more time with my girlfriends and like enjoyed them more when they were around, instead of worrying about, not really worrying, but like all my focus was on progress and self and putting myself in a better position, because I was like, if I'm not giving 110% to everything, they wouldn't like me anyways. It's the ambition that they're attracted to. But I'm like, I could have at least devoted more time to them and actually been more present. But it took like a long time of trauma to literally pull me away from that mindset. Like, I had to be forced to sit out doing nothing to gain that perspective. I needed to be beaten into nothing until I literally couldn't fight anymore to give up fighting. And that made a big change. There's sirens going off. And somebody's hammering something into a wall. A bit too close for comfort. So they might be putting up no trespassing signs because I was too loud. Which, I mean, fuck you. What's the point? Well, I read the part of the Bible that everybody talks about on accident. Okay, let's get more trash out of here. I kind of like eating the pizza crust, so I'm gonna keep it. But this trash can go out. Where'd everybody go? Monkey, monkey, monkey. Bring him back. I'll be a dancing monkey. Bring him back. My protein bars fell for some reason. I have a lot of protein bars. Oh shit! I got my nice drink. I have one more of these. Now this will be my new trash. And I'll put this over here. This is the bag for the sleeping bag. I have my pepper spray I keep right next door. I need new batteries for this and this. The backpack can go here. This I should probably hang up so I don't forget it when I go out. But I want to put the dream catcher there. The dream catcher. The squirrels like the dream catcher. You fucking accuser. You accuser of the brethren, kill yourself. Okay. It's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Sleigh bells ring-a-ling-a-ding, ding-a-ling-a-ling-doo. Hold this up. And then tomorrow is Tuesday. Tomorrow I will make the big trek to the new site. Lovely weather for a sleigh ride. Wish that there was some place that I could hang this, but there's nothing in here. Unless I could put carabiner maybe. Once I find my carabiners. But I don't like that because it's going to make it hard to unclip every time I need to get it out. That works for now. Hang it there. And if absolutely necessary, if it's like an emergency, I'm strong enough to just rip it. And then trash, 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 trash. This. Okay. Holy Scripture. And I don't have a place to hang up my nice new coat. Oh, fuck you, fuck you. Okay. That wasn't as bad as it could have been. Let's just use my shorts. Because I'm not going to be using these shorts for months. And it's just tea and a little bit of sugar. And it's not hot, so it's not going to grow any bacteria. Okay. Sleigh bells ring-a-ling-a-ding. Okay, I need screws in. I wish I had a whiteboard or something I can hang that I can put my messages on. So I remember, I guess I could do this one. I could write it here. I need my pen though. Where's my goddamn pen, man? Dude, I'm not gonna find my pen. Reaching through. But I did, sucker. Welding. Okay, so on my shirt here, we need drill, question mark. Definitely need a hammer. And nails. Because this guy stole my hammer and my belt and the roof to my tent. Which is fucking baloney. Oh, drill, hammer, nails. Then I could start hanging stuff like this with my stuff on it. Plywood? Question mark? What do they call those, like, sheets? I think it's plywood. They're selling. I might have enough to be able to. I might have $40. I could get. He's selling 4x8 sheets of plywood for $10 a piece. And it's like right down the road. I might be able to get 4 sheets of plywood. And I already have a 4x8 2x4 frame with a 4x8 sheet of plywood already behind the laundromat. Then I could nail the sheets of plywood to that. Then I have something I could bring in. Then I could put this in that. Take the insulation board and put the insulation board around that. Then I take this tarp, and instead of having the tarp covering the wind chill of one side of the tent, the tarp now, maybe I can find a door and put door hinges, or put a door's probably 8 feet tall, right? The door might even be 4x8, so I could put a 4x8 door sideways, that folds down, and then the tarp goes over the top, and then eventually I could put wheels on that. Just try not to make your energy rapey. You know? Be sure not to, like, say things that might try to, you know? That's what it is. Engagement is good. When you do comment, it's it's pulling people towards the content. The more every comment that goes in, just like when that guy threw his intention to make the animals angry, or when I set the intention higher and the animals all come to me, the buzzing around here the algorithm draws things closer. And it's about your intentions and stuff. So plywood. So I could put I have the 4x8 frame. 4x8s. I have a saw. I get 4. That, and then I could line the outside with trees, make it look rustic and cool. Then the tarp just goes over the top, and then it connects to the door. So I'll have to get. I could with just a tree branch, like the fallen trees. I could drill in a place for the door lock thing to go into. And then I have a door on this side, and then I'll start elevating it and putting it on bike tires. So then I have a wagon that I can drag, and that wagon can have a attachment to my Tractor Supply wagon. So it attaches 2 arms out that extend and lock to the Tractor Supply, so it's not waving. It's just bigger. And then I have a larger haul that I can take everything. And now I live in a warm camper that I can leave for $2 you can get for 20 hours 138 degree hand warmer. The only problem with the hand warmers is that they only heat up the space that you put it in. So once this is insulated in the sleeping bags and it's comfy in there, then I can, once it's sealed with my carpenter's caulk I have, then I can throw the hand warmer in there, and the hand warmer will make the space warm because air can't escape. So I will do that. I don't know. I could say that the Venmo donations, so I'll have the GoFundMe, I'll have the Cash App, and I'll have the Venmo. Maybe I'll say that if Radshad, he says he plans to keep going with the thing, if he keeps sending me like $10 a week, I'll use Radshad's money for the plywood shelter. And the point is to just keep these recordings going, because eventually I'll be able to go through them, and there's a lot of cool scenes that I can pull and put into long form videos like Will Survives has, where it's just like a stream of content. Squirrel. So plywood, door, wheels, plywood door wheels, plywood door wheels, second tent, which I have, second tent, bikes fixed, sold, question mark, gym, long walks, meal plan plus diet, electric skillet, eggs, and then once I have that, and I have the plywood thing, that's a good platform to keep in the warm place that I can start banging out push-ups. I'm trying to do like 1,000 push-ups a day, but I just need to consume enough protein that it's not actually detrimental to me. So it looks like a solid plan. I just etched it in my stone tablet because I'm broke, and I think it's good enough for me for now. I appreciate y'all watching. Maybe I should just stay silent and observe. That does work better for me sometimes, it seems. I don't know. I just don't make it about energy transference at all, and just have good intentions and try not to have your thing affect anybody else, and you should be fine. It's probably, if I'm being honest, Heather, it's not. You named yourself after a demon. So of course we're going to be like, not going to want to read what you have to say. We're going to try to avoid that. I like the Meg. I don't know if I blocked the Meg. The Meg was pretty funny. All right. Goodbye, guys.